So, Sumit, over to you.
Thanks, Rishi. Um Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining this session. And today, me and Praveen is going to talk about the component level data fetching in Sitecore with some theoretical part and practical demo session. In our recent application, we just use this feature with the Next.js. So we are go- we so we learned something and we want to share with you guys. So before going through this session, let me introduce myself. Praveen, go to the next slide, please. Okay, my name is Sumit Bhatia. I'm a Sitecore 8.2, 9, 10 CDP personalized certified developer. I'm having more than 13 years of experience in .NET and working in Sitecore from last 5 years. I'm a Sitecore Technology MVP 2023, currently working as a senior solution architect at Rightpoint, and I'm also an active Sitecore community member. So you can reach out to me through Slack or LinkedIn or whatever source you want, you can reach out to me. Here are my community profiles. So whatever I learn new things in Sitecore, I try to record videos. I love to write blogs, adding modules on GitHub account. Also, as an active community member, I am helping community on Slack and Stack Exchange. So that's all about me. Over to you, Praveen.
Yeah, thank you, Sumit. So hello everyone. I'm Praveen, and I'm working in Rightpoint as a solution arc. I am a Sitecore 6.5, 9.0, and 10 CMS certified, and Sitecore 9 Commerce certified, and recently I've done CDP certifications. I have more than 16 years of experience in .NET, and today in this session, me and Sumit are going to share our experience with component level data fetching on Next.js component. So thank you all of you to be here with us for this session. So yeah, over to you, Sumit.
Okay. So let's discuss about the agenda for today's session. So in today's session, we are going to have a component level data fetching scenario. And before that, we will have some introduction of GraphQL because we are using some GraphQL queries to implement that one. Then we'll discuss about the benefits of GraphQL for Sitecore. And then we'll see what is the component level data fetching and how we can use that. So for that one, we will show you a demo with the GraphQL search query that will be able to get that content from Sitecore and bind the content. And then we also have another demo for the to create a GraphQL simple query for the component level data fetching that is for the Sitecore beginner. So if someone is new to Sitecore or Next.js, so they can follow this pattern, and if they go through it, so they can just modify as per the component needs. And finally, we'll have a conclusion and question and answer section. Next slide, please. Okay, so let me give you some introduction of the GraphQL. So Sitecore GraphQL is an API-based query language for the Sitecore Experience platform, which is a popular web content management and digital experience platform. And so GraphQL allows developers to request specific data from Sitecore in a more efficient and flexible manner compared to the traditional REST APIs. So with Sitecore GraphQL, you can create custom queries to retrieve only the data that you need. That is reducing overfetching and underfetching of the data. So that we'll see in our demo. Whatever field we require from the Sitecore, we are only we are only going to target those in our query. And so this makes it easier to build responsive and performant web application that leverage the Sitecore content management capabilities. And developers can use GraphQL to interact with Sitecore content, including retrieving content items, media items, and other resources, as well as performing mutations to update data when they need it. It provides a more structured and efficient way to access Sitecore content and services, so making it a popular choice for the modern web development with Sitecore. Here are some key features that Praveen will be going to talk about. Over to you, Praveen.
Yeah, definitely, Sumit. Here are some key features. The one of them is the flexible data retrieval. So the GraphQL allows you to request exactly the data that you need and nothing more. This eliminates the problem of overfetching and underfetching of the data. So which can be common with the REST API. Developer can draft precise queries to get the content and information required for a specific task or view. And the next one is the single endpoint. So unlike the REST API where you need multiple endpoint for different data types or operations, GraphQL typically provides a single endpoint. And this simplify the API management and reduce the number of requests needed to retrieve data from Sitecore. And about the schema and type system. So GraphQL API is that strongly typed and defined by a schema. So Sitecore GraphQL is introduced the is schema that outline the type of the data that can be queried along with their relationship and available operations. So this schema serves as a content as a contract between the client and the Sitecore server. And the next one is the real-time update. So GraphQL supports the real-time update through the subscriptions. This means that you can subscribe to change in data and receive update as they happen. So it is useful for building the interactive and live applications. And the next and most important is the security. So Sitecore GraphQL respect the security setting and permissions configured in the Sitecore Experience platform. So this ensures that only the authorized user and role can access the specific data through the GraphQL queries and mutations. And about the performance, so because GraphQL get provide options to only send a request exactly the data that you need. So it can improve the performance because it allows the client to request only the data that they need and reducing the payload size and the server processing. So this is especially important for the mobile applications and website where when bandwidth and speed are critical. And the last one is the tooling. There are various tools available for working with Drive GraphQL. So the Sitecore itself provide a graphical query builder, and that is the developer-friendly interface. So these tools make it easier to explore the schema and compose the query and test those query interactively. So the overall, the Sitecore GraphQL is a powerful addition to the Sitecore ecosystem and making it easier for the developer to build modern, efficient, and flexible digital experience by providing the fine-grained control over the data retrieval and manipulations. So these are the key features about to use the GraphQL with the Next.js.
Okay.
So yeah,
Thanks.
Sumit will
Yeah.
describe about the difference between the GraphQL and REST API.
Okay. So thanks, Praveen. And there are some the last point of this presentation, like what is the GraphQL between the GraphQL versus the REST differences. So I didn't find the major differences, but whatever I got, I'm going to explain that. So use REST API when you have a well-defined and static set of endpoints and you want to leverage HTTP caching mechanism, and choose GraphQL when you need more flexibility in querying data and you want to avoid the overfetching and underfetching issues, and or require real-time capabilities and strong typing in your API. So the choice between GraphQL and REST API depending on your specific project requirements and goals. And the decision between the GraphQL and REST API should also take into account the developers seem familiar with the technology, as well as the long-term maintainability and scalability requirement of the project. So it's essential to evaluate the specific needs of your application and choose a technology that align best with those requirements. Next slide, please. Here are some benefits of GraphQL for Sitecore. We'll quickly go through that one. So first one is improved efficiency. So Sitecore content can be complex with various templates and fields. GraphQL allows you to model your content in a way that that closely matches your application needs. So you can create custom GraphQL types and queries that align with your content structure and making it easier to work with Sitecore content in a headless context. Next one is a reduce overfetching. So one of the primary benefit of GraphQL that I also like that it is it allows clients to request only data that they need. So in a headless CMS like Sitecore, content can be complex and with the nested structure. So with GraphQL, client can specify exactly which fields they are require. So that will eliminating the overfetching and underfetching issues. And that we are also going to show you in our demo that how you can request only the fields that you require in your application on the component, and this reduce the amount of data transferred over the network because and improve performance, because if you are only targeting the limited number of feeds, so it will you will get the response very faster as per the whole data from the Sitecore CMS. The next one is a simplified query. So GraphQL offers a more developer friendly experience. Developer can use tools like GraphQL to interact, explore the schema, experiment with the queries, and understand the available data structure. This can speed up development and debugging, and we'll also see some tools like GraphQL Playground, where we'll see the query, how we can write the queries, how we can get the response on the right hand side, and so this will help us to build the queries and get the response whatever we require and the format we require for our component. The last one is a enhanced front-end development. So GraphQL enhance front-end development in a Next.js headless architecture by improving data efficiency, reduce the number of API calls, and offering a strong type and tooling, accommodate schema evaluation, and provides a better developer experience. So these benefits contribute to faster development, improve performance, and great flexibility when building a modern dynamic web and mobile application. Uh, Here are the these are the benefits of GraphQL for Sitecore. Next slide, and over to you, Praveen.
So yeah, next one is that component level data fetching. So in this session, our main focus is to deliver our experience about this subject. The how can we fetch the component level data on a Next.js component. So Next.js provides the ability to pre-render the page at the build time and each request using the page level data fetching strategy for each rendering form. So data fetching strategy should align with your specific requirement of your Sitecore headless Next.js projects, considering factor like the data structure, content frequency, page interactivity, and performance goal. And regularly review and optimize your data fetching approach to ensure that it continues to meet your need of your project. So if you want to fetch the component level data at the component level, you can use the mechanism similar to the page level data fetching by implementing and exporting the get static prop and get server side props method. And yeah, let's about discuss about the get server side prop. So these functions run on the server for every incoming request. So it is the good choice when you need to fetch data that may change as per request. So for example, imagine you are browsing an e-commerce site, and when you click on the product, the server generates the product page with all the details and including the stock availability, reviews, and prices. So this ensures that latest information is also displayed. So, and the next one is the get static prop. So this functions is used for the SSG. So it runs at the build time and can be used when you have data that doesn't frequently change. So it is idle for the content that remains static between the builds. So think about so for example, think about the blog site. The all blog posts are pre-rendered at the build time. So when a user click on a blog post, they instantly see the content and no waiting for the server processing. So it gives a fast performance experience for the user. And so the Next.js provide multiple way to perform the component level data fetching and allowing to choose the method that best fit for your specific use case. So whether it involves the server side rendering and static side generations and the client side interactions. So in this sessions, we are just going to discuss about going to demo about the get static prop. Uh, so using this get static prop, I just want to discuss about the how can implement the Sitecore search query. For this in our solutions, I have structured these files to build this component. So the first one I used the related resources module CSS to styling the component, and the second one is the related resources.txs file. So this is the Next.js component to render the HTML based on the logic and the related resources query template. So this template keeps the your GraphQL query. So these are the three files is binding the this component about the related resources. So this is the steps that we need to follow to bind the GraphQL result set with our Next.js component using the get static prop method. So first, we need to just define the GraphQL query template. And this query template, we need to just write the query. And the second one is on in our views, we need to just define use the all import statement that is needed to call the get static prop method and to render the result set on the view, and how to call the GraphQL files on the view component. So this is the way to call the all APIs and the GraphQL query. And next one is that this is the method, this get static prop. So this method is responsible to fetch the data from the GraphQL endpoint. So in this method, it will send a request to the GraphQL endpoint by and passing the query, your query, and it will deliver the query data as in a response, but still you are not able to get bind your result set on the Next.js component. So for that, on your Next.js component, you need to use this React hook, that use component props. So this method is able to get uh, the static data from the rendering from the rendering, and it will deliver the data, and you can map your data with your HTML component, and it will render on your Next.js component. And let me show how it will display on your how it will give a user experience. So this is the related resources component, and where I am just getting the title and CTA button, and these are the card component where just getting fetching the data, the image, title, and description, and some flag to display that this component is the premium, and this content is the premium or not. So let me show you how I build this component in the backend. So this is the our front-end solutions, and here you can see below this folder, that related resources. This is the styling file. It keeps all CSS, and this is the GraphQL query template, where you need to just to write the query and need to define your search criteria, search filter parameters using the and or predicate operator, using them for the multiple fields like language, template, and path. And because I'm getting the related resources based on the solutions field, so in the site CMS we have a tag, the solutions tag. So all relevant solutions, those match with the current page, will be getting in the related resources. And here on the order by, we need to define the field that we want to, from which we want to order the result set in the ascending and the descending directions. And this is the most important about the result set, because here we want to only specific, we don't want to get all the CMS data. We want to only the data that is relevant for the component. So here for this component, these are the relevant field that we need to show to render on the component. So this in this GraphQL query, we need to define all these things. Or uh, here, let me show you how we can run this query on the playground. So so in the search query, you need to define your search filter with the all key fields. And here I have put the some parameters, and these are the key components. And uh, on the search header, we need to define the search API key. So right now, I think something has been lost.
Can you refresh that playground into another tab and see we are getting the values?
Yeah, let me get the search API key from here. So this is the API key that we need to use on our to fetch the GraphQL and query with the GraphQL endpoint. Sumit, what is the value key of this field? Right? Is it right?
Just a minute, I'm checking.
Yeah, I got it.
You need to pass the query variables.
Yes, yes. So yeah, something has been lost from this query. So right now I'm not able to show you about on this playground. But yeah, here in this playground, you can just write the search query and pass the all required parameter that SC API key and with the display options, you can run the query. And after this, if you see that related resources component on top of the this file, you need to just import all the required statement, import statement to call the static props. So you need to call the get static component props, get GraphQL request client, layout service data, and use components prop. And the GraphQL endpoints are defined in this config.js. So you can see that here the GraphQL endpoint path is defined and Sitecore API key is also defined. So it will read from this file, the config file, and this method, get static prop method, is responsible to fetch the data uh, from the backend, and it will send a request to the GraphQL endpoint using the GraphQL Sitecore API key. And here you need to just define your query. And if there is some dynamic content that you need to pass, you need to do here just like this one. So here I'm just passing the language. I'm just replacing the values of these keys. I'm just passing the language and templates and the ID. And once that so this query is requesting on the GraphQL endpoint, and it will give you a query data. But still, on the Next.js component, it is not able to bind on the component. So on this component, on the JSX element, you need to use the use component props React hook that gets the query data. And from this, after that, you are able to bind your data with your HTML component. So this is the way to bind the search result with your component. So when you render that, it will show just like this one. So yeah, that is all about the search integrations using the GraphQL query. So over to you, Sumit, to show you that how can you integrate the simple GraphQL query.
Yeah. This is a like a very simple way to implementing. We are using the same structure and we are using the same approach, but I will make it very easier. So if you are a Sitecore beginner or you are new to Next.js, so you can easily understand which few number of fields that how you can do the component level data fetching on for a simple component. So the structure of the file you can see it's look like the same that Praveen also show you. So the component we are using is a homepage hero. So there are three files we are targeting. Firstly, the homepage hero.module.css that is having all the CSS that is be applicable on the particular component. Homepage hero.tsx that contains all the logic. We are trying to retrieve the value using the GraphQL query, and we are trying to bind that values as a response into this component. And the last one is a homepage hero query template.tcs, where we have kept our GraphQL query as a string, and we are passing the data source path as a parameter and the current language as a parameter, and we will get the response from Sitecore, and we'll be able to find that one. Okay, can you move on to the code, please?
Yeah.
So this is the component. You can see there's three files. So let me open the one by one. The homepage hero.module of CSS contains the CSS, as I mentioned you earlier. The next one is a homepage hero.tsx. It contains the logic. So we will come to that point at the very last. And the last one is a homepage hero template.tsx that contains a very simple query, GraphQL query, where we are passing the data source item and the language. Now, can you open the playground? Praveen, also I have sent you the parameters for my query. Maybe we can check if it's working.
Yeah, just
So here we need to pass two variables, that is a data source and the language. So we can get the data source ID from the CMS. So can you go to the data folder? So when the component loads, so using the layout service data, we get all the renderings and all the data source. Those are applied to that particular item. So using this front end part for this GraphQL to implement the query, we are going to check that how the data will be rendered. I mean, what are the format will the data we are getting from the Sitecore CMS. Okay, we have defined the data source and the language,
just a minute.
and yeah, we need to modify the query. You need to pass the string after the colon. Yeah, after the colon, let's write a string, string, capital S, maybe small can work. Yeah, try to run the query.
Just a minute.
Yeah, there is some error. Praveen, have you given you the whole query in the chat? Can you copy paste that?
Yes, yes.
Okay, we'll not wasting time into that one, but yeah, this is a way like we can write the queries and pass a parameter from the query variable, and using the HTTP header, we can provide our API key. So on the right hand side, we will see the JSON format of the data that is coming from the Sitecore side, and we can if we can format our data like whatever field we need, we can define into the left hand side query. Like in this component, we have four fields that are required. There are other fields as well, and you can get the ID name. It give you intelligence and you can add here with the template that for the homepage hero template, whatever fields we have, we can define there. But for this for this GraphQL query, with the help of GraphQL query, we can get only the fields that are actually required for our component. So let's move to our component to see how the codes, how we are calling that, because this is a tool to test our query, but from the code side, we can see that how we are calling this query and how we are getting the result and how we are binding them. So if we go to the if we go at the top, can you go to the top, and we'll see that here are the references. Those are required to build up the query and other parameters for this component. And once you will add that code into your Next.js application, it will give you the parameter references using the help of intelligence on this panel using the Visual Code. And if you go to at the last, so you can see that we are using the get static props. So we are passing the component rendering that we are getting from the layout service response, and we are using the layout service data using the GraphQL client, that is line number 108. We are getting all the configuration for that is required to run the query. That is the GraphQL endpoint and the Sitecore API key. And as I showed you that we need two parameters for this query, that is a language and that is a and the current data source. So you can see that we are replacing the underscore data source with the data source that we are getting for this component and also the language. And finally, using the GraphQL client, the request, we are passing the query and we will get the data once we are requesting that one. So if you scroll up, so here are on line number 36, we are using constant data and we are using use component props and passing the rendering ID, and we are casting it into the homepage hero props. That is a props where actually we are using the TypeScript. So we need to cast it into the TypeScript object. And then once we get the response into the data, so using the data, we are binding the background image for the component. We are binding the header, the title, description, and the CTA. And here are some motion tips we are adding here that is be responsible to motion that component. That was a need for this component, but you can make it simple that whatever how how you need to write the component. So it's up to you how you will write the code for that one. So this is how we can implement that one. And if you see at the front end, if can you see Praveen, the front end, we are getting the how the component will look like at the 4 tab. Yeah, so this is how we have rendered this component. We are showing the background image, we are showing the title, description, and the CTA, and yeah, using the component level data fetching. So this is how we implemented using the component level data fetching. So I'm going to the conclusion of this presentation. Like utilizing component level data fetching in Sitecore allows for more efficient and target retrieval of content for a specific element on the web page that we have already seen for the component in our demo. This approach enhances the overall performance and user experience by reducing unnecessary data loads. In addition to this, it enables personalized content delivery, ensuring that visitors receive relevant information tailored to their needs and performance. So overall, implementing component level data fetching in Sitecore needs to a streamlined, responsive, and user-focused websites. Also, you have seen in the demo that how GraphQL simplified the process of aggregating data from multiple sources and provide a more tailored response to clients' requests. So it's a real-time capabilities combined with a strong type system enhance the development experience. So these are the features that we are covering of the GraphQL. Ultimately, GraphQL empowers developers to create more efficient, flexible, and responsive APIs, so leading to enhanced user experience and faster development cycle. So that is all about this component level data fetching and the GraphQL that we have been into that one. And that is all we have for today. Coming back to the slides. Yeah, thank you so much. We have covered our two demo with some introduction of GraphQL and the component level data fetching features. And if you guys have any question, you can ask.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So can we use we use TypeScript here? Can we use .js file as well? If yes, is there any benefit of using TypeScript?
Like the benefit. is using like we are getting all the types for the like we are creating the object like
The
object oriented
typecast
programming
code.
language. Yeah, we are typecasting that
Okay.
into a particular one, and using that we are using the help of intelligence. Like we are getting like if there is a title, so title dot value, we are getting the value of that one, and it gives you if it's a string, it's a integer, so it will give you the compile time error as well. So it will also
Okay.
helping to yeah, resolve the runtime errors.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other question? Thanks, Rishi. I guess we have covered the session. So if you have any question, like if you are just starting your Next.js application and you're a beginner and using, if you see like want to implement the component level data fetching, so you can reach out to us through Slack. We are active as a we are as a active community member, so we will be try to solve your queries. And we are also like as a beginner of this Next.js because recently we worked on a Next.js project, so we got these new features. That's why we want to share you with all you guys. Thank you.